My name is Jesse. I've been asked to be your host for this afternoon. And we're here to celebrate the beautiful life of Mary Anne Dupree, born September. Mary Anne Dupree, let's celebrate her. Born September 4th, 1948 in Kinston, North Carolina. She joined the Angel Patrol 6 months ago to this day in Alger. And I believe she's here with us now. And I want to thank everybody for showing up and being a part of this joyous ceremony. Our intention today is to share as much joy as possible in celebrating our lives in lieu of hers. She gave us so much joy with her humor and her flowers and her Earth Mama, and we're here to tell stories. So I'm going to begin a little bit. I'm going to tell a story, but I want you to think of stories you might tell also. Because Mary Anne was full of life and full of stories. But what I'd like to do first, in thanking you for being here, can we just, for a moment, focus on our hearts and bring the spirit of Mary Anne into our own selves so that we may be here present with her and the joyous spirit that we've come to celebrate. Just for a moment. And I'm going to say, hello, Mary Anne. Thanks for being here. And I've been told by mystics and channelers that we plan our life before we come here. Well, if that is so, I'm very happy that Mary Anne planned to be with our community. Because we've had a great time. And each one of us is here by choice, I reckon. And so the love that we share in this amazing community is the most precious thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I'm very happy that Mary Anne, and we're here to celebrate Mary Anne's love, but it belongs to all of us because we are in unity of one spirit, but we're individual as well. And so of our individuality, we share it and give it back. But as one, we realize that we are all the love that we came to be. Now, I have a story that she liked to tell about me. And we went, I'll start out and see where I want to go. First of all, I'd like to say that she made great birthday cakes. Anybody know that? The last birthday cake she made for me, she put a dinosaur on top to indicate my age. That was good. Anyway, this story begins with me attending Fairhaven College and belonging to a theater troupe of improv. And so I had 3 friends in that improv troupe, Ned, Amy, and Robin. And we all found out there was a comedy class, a stand-up comedy class in Skagit Valley College. And Mary Anne found out about that. So we decided we were going to be stand-up comedians. And we attended this class once a week for 3 months. So Ned, Amy, and Robin would come down to my house on Friday Creek Road in Alger, and Mary Anne would pick us up in her red Dodge Caravan. And we get in there, they would sit in the back, I sat shotgun, and she's off. Because she had a driving style was stop and go. She said she learned that from her mother. Okay. So after a couple months of going down to class and back, the kids riding in the back were getting very frustrated because every time she hit the brakes, they were, and she'd take off and they'd go, whoa. And our heads are going to fall off if you keep doing this. Jesse, won't you drive? Won't you drive? I said, no, let her drive. No, she's okay. Well, one evening, we came back from class, and she said she'd had enough of the kids complaining, and so she pulled off on the Cook Road exit, right off I-5, and we're at Cook Road, and it's dark, and I was to be the driver. Well, I didn't know the car, and I started messing with it. And I flashed a high beam. Oh, it was a bright high beam. The same time, a state policeman drove right by, and I beamed him really good. Oh, he was in the spotlight. And I thought, oh boy. So I started the car, and I pulled out. And then I went up 99. I pulled over. He was right on me. And he came up to the window. And what he saw was Ma and Pa and 3 kids in the back. Well, I started apologizing to the policeman, thinking, I just took over driving and blah, 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 blah. And Mary Ann just leans over right away and says, "I'm going to spank you when we get home." The policeman apologized and wished me good luck. That's my story. What's yours? So does anybody have a story? It's come up with something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like mine. I don't have any more. But okay, I'd like to hear your story. Can you come over, or shall we bring it over to you? Bring it over. You good with this, Mike, fellas? You're almost there.
Okay, how's that?
You hear her?
Yeah, okay. Well, Mary Anne was one of my oldest and dearest friends. She always said that I was the first woman she met when she came to Bellingham, and her brother Lewis introduced us. And that was almost exactly 50 years ago. And let me tell you, in those 50 years, she and I went through a lot of shit together. And some of it was good and some of it was not so good, but we always knew we had each other's back, and we always knew where to go to get a hug and a laugh. I think it's pretty safe to say that she was a unique woman, and there will never be another one. She marched to the beat of her own drum, and that's quite literal. She loved to drum, so she was a special person in my life, and I think about her every day and always will. So rest in peace, Earth Mama.
Next story. Anybody else? Come on. Come on, don't be shy. Are you coming to tell a story?
I do.
Oh, good. Get the mic for you.
Well, it's kind of a story of the tension that was between Mary Anne and me. I went to her house for a potluck, and I took my grandmother's dish. I mean, this was a hand-me-down, beautiful hand-blown, something I have no interest in. And I made the dish, which I'd forgotten, and it certainly didn't stand up to the dish. And then I left the dish. And next time she saw me, "Oh, you gotta come get your dish." I'll come get it. I'll come get it. And I didn't come get it. Next time I said, "You gotta come get that dish." And that was our banter back and forth. Every time I saw her was about that dish. So that's kind of my story.
You know, you've got a lot of stories. Please share them. Yes, this is for joy. Joyous life. The joy of living. There's joy of cooking too, isn't there? Here we go.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. So, I didn't know Mary Anne probably as well as most of you. I'd run into her at a farmer's market. She and Dave would come out and check for salmon once in a while. But my most memorable meetup with Mary Anne was at school, Edison Public School. Mary Anne liked to sub once in a while. She preferred the high school, I know, but she wanted to come to Edison to, I think she said, see her babies. And of course, we know that's her grandchildren. So one day I went to sub at Edison and she was there. And I said, "Mary Anne, who are you subbing for?" She says, "Music." Well, anyone who's ever subbed at a public school knows it's difficult at best. To sub for music is even worse. So she held up these lesson plans and fanned them in front of me. She says, "Look at this." I didn't need to look at it because I had subbed for music before. I knew exactly what was on there. She says, "I ain't doing this shit." She said, I'm going to do the hokey pokey. And I'm pretty sure she did the hokey pokey for 7 periods, 45 minutes each. How she managed to stretch it for 45 minutes, I have no idea. So as I was relating this story to my wife, we were discussing Mary Anne, and a phrase came to mind. A phrase I'm not real familiar with, but I'd heard it before. The phrase is piss and vinegar. So I had my wife Google piss and vinegar, and a few of the words came up the following: full of energy, vitality, youthful enthusiasm, feisty, brave, aggressive spirit, rebellious, argument, and my wife said at the end, she said, when piss and vinegar grows up, they're going to want to be Mary Anne Dupree. Thank you.
Mic is open for anybody to speak to.
So, as most of you know, I was very fortunate to be a neighbor of Mary Ann's. And there are just lots of anecdotes. One thing that I just loved about Mary Anne, and what's not to love, I have a partner that has fibromyalgia, she's housebound. And Mary Anne would be bringing over flowers all the time for me to give to Belinda. And that was just so sweet of a thing to do, for sure. Another thing that I will never forget is that when I had parties at Rangerville for 20-some years, and Mary Anne would show up on their riding lawnmower. That's how she got there. And then she'd just ride around with that, and it'd be fine. You could drink or drive a lawnmower. Pretty much that's true anyway. And she would stop on the way to school sometimes and just say, well, yeah, I got a substitute, but let's just talk about something. I've got a couple minutes, I'm trying to get ready. And she'd try to just, clear her mind to be able to do that. And speaking of clear your mind, we were at the farmer's market one day, and I walked up to her and we were talking and stuff. And so somebody else, I don't remember who it was, walked up with two other people that we didn't know. And they said, Mary Anne, this is Jill and Tom, and they're from the Carolinas, like you. And so I wanted you to meet, they're leaving tomorrow, but I wanted them to meet you. And without missing a beat, she turned and she said, honey, I'd like to do that, but I know so many people now that my brain is full, and if I learn who you are and you're leaving tomorrow, then I might lose a couple friends that I have now that are here. And then she just turned back into our conversation. And the other two people are just kind of standing perplexed and drifted away. What else are you going to do? So, yeah, Mary Anne was a spark plug in lots of our lives, and probably all of them at some point or another. And you must have more stories, Karen. Who's got something else to say? Come on, Karen. Karen's got lots of stories, I know. There we go.
Anything will do.
Well, hi, y'all, all of y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Well, Mary Anne, what can I say? We all loved her, and she was the life of the party. And we're going to miss her. And that's all I have right now.
Shortly after she passed, there were some texts going around, and someone said, well, heaven just got a lot louder. Anybody else have stories? We're going to do a toast. Are we ready to? We can tell stories and get ready for a toast. Come on, please tell your story.
Okay, we three have a story. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim, John, and Marietta. We were housemates at the Gray House in 1977 when Mary Anne lived there. That's when I first met her. With her North Carolina accent, it was great. It was always honey and JR, and sure enough, it was really cool. And we went on many adventures in her Volkswagen bus. Went to visit her when she was working in Manson, picking apples, and one special event for my 24th birthday, Mary Anne was there, and she went into labor, and she was so happy that she delivered Dasha on the 21st of January, right, Dasha? So she wouldn't have to share it with me.
Well, Mary Anne was my first best friend when I moved here in 1975, and we all lived at the Gray House, and some lived in the basement and the barn and the chicken coop and the bedrooms. That was a big fun for sure. And we were really close friends. That was really wonderful.
I can't even think of one specific story, but yeah, her personality was larger than life. She, the minute she walked in the kitchen when I first moved in, it was just like, boom, who is this? She was just like in your face and honey, and just everyone had a nickname. Everybody was, we just hit it off immediately and just friends for life. And yeah, gonna miss her. So, but yeah, we were all in that house together. We had a great time. So.
Oh, and one more thing, Mary Anne adored her friend Patty Coons, who lived kind of kitty corner to us. And I don't remember her name, but she was one of the Pan Am. Yep, hey Patty. But she also adored one of her Pan Am flight attendants. I don't remember her name, but she lived in Seattle, and she just like adored everybody and embraced life.
So I'm Glenna. I knew Mary Anne for 54 years. We flew together for Pan Am, and we had quite a few stories. One story I remember with Mary Anne, we flew to Tahiti together, and it was in the early 70s. And we went to, there's a bar in Tahiti called Quinn's Bar, and it's supposedly the mafia bar of Tahiti. People go in there and they never come out. And Mary Anne and I, and they didn't have air conditioning. Mary Anne and I went in there and we danced all night with the locals. We didn't even know who they were. And I remember we were so hot, we were sweating, and yeah, we had a lot of good stories. I was looking for a picture of us in our uniforms, but I couldn't find one. So I bought a house by the airport in Seattle. So Mary Anne used to park there when she went on trips. Everybody parks at my house. So we kept in touch over the years. Every summer I would come and see her. And we had different adventures. Like one time we braided garlic and I went to the farmer's market with her. And I don't know that we sold anything that day, but everybody got a lot of love. Everybody that came by got love. And it was this beautiful, loving day with Mary Anne. So both of us are substitute teachers. After I quit flying, I became a sub in Seattle in the high schools. And there aren't that many American-born kids where I live. It's mostly foreign kids. And she was a substitute teacher here for little farm boys, the rural kids. So we used to compare stories. And then we both married the most wonderful men. We both married preachers' kids. She married Dave, and I married my preacher's kid. His father was a Lutheran minister, and he married us. And so we had parallels in our lives that kept us connected. But I think one of the last times Mary Anne came to Seattle, we met at the Pike Street Market, and I've never laughed so much in my life. We laughed and laughed and laughed. And she parked in the parking lot. She couldn't remember where her car was. It's really confusing, you know, because there's, anyway. So we had all this stuff, and we're trying to go back to the car. And she made friends with, there was a Samoan guy. They had a little house there. They actually had a real person there. Now there's no real person. And she said 2 words to him, and he started telling her his life story. I mean, he was just like, he just let it all out about his gay partner and his this and that and on. And she says, honey, she says, I love you no matter, you do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. And he was just, so anyway, that was going into the parking lot. So coming out of the parking lot at the end of the day, she couldn't find her ticket. And there's a line of traffic behind us, and they're all waiting to pay and leave, and she's digging through her purse like this. She's pulling everything out. I think there was even a pair of pantyhose in there. I mean, she was just pulling everything out, and she couldn't find it. The cars were all backed up, and the Samoan guy was there, and he said, it's okay. He said, I'll mail you the ticket. And he said, oh, and by the way, he said, I have this wonderful coloring book for adults here. I thought maybe you'd like to have one. And he gave her, it's a beautiful coloring book. And, it was the perfect end to a perfect day. And Mary Anne made a new friend. And we laughed a lot. Anyway, I'm wearing this for her. These were her babies. And, I think of her quite often. So that's everything I can think of right now. But Mary Anne is here.
Thank you.
So, like a lot of you, I met Mary Anne when I was a substitute teacher. She was my first friend when I started substituting at Cedar High School. She just appeared in front of me, just this glorious being with this accent. She was just right there, like welcoming to the school, like ushering me in. And we've been friends for, it's like 1986. What is that? 40 years? But here's the story I want to share. The family celebrated her birthday with her last year, and probably a lot of you were there. And I was aware that she was starting to lose her memories, but it was okay. But near the end, I kind of leaned into her and just put my head on her shoulder, and she said, Karen, I'm so glad you're here. And it meant so much to me. She remembered in that moment. She remembered me. And there was that connection, and it was like, it meant everything to me. I really loved her. I love her so.
We can tell more stories, but I think everybody has a drink now.
It's non-alcoholic, so.
It's non-alcoholic. So let's raise our glass to a toast to the great, extreme gratitude for having Mary Anne and her beautiful soul in our life and carrying us on forward. Thank you so much. Are there any more stories? If not, it's party time. Oh, another story. Good.
I met Mary Anne at Big Blue, not the Gray House, because we had a mutual friend. And this was when we were both pregnant with our sons, so Dasha and my son Noel. And I think before I met her, this friend, Melissa Queen was one of her names, Falah, yes. And she mentioned Mary Anne to me, and I said, Mary Anne, I don't think I know her. She said, you will, you'll know her. And so we have been friends ever since. And then there was a time, and I don't know what we were doing, but it was when Kaiser was a baby, and she's a little younger than my daughter, and Kaiser was hungry, Mary Anne was driving, I was in the back seat, and so Mary Anne just nursed Kaiser. So she's told that story a number of times, that I was the only other person who nursed her child.
Thank you.
She survived.
Well, if you have another story, I'm sure the Lucky Dogs will be happy to stop playing the music to let you tell the story. But thank you very much for your attention. We're here to share love and share the joy and get to know each other, for this community is unique, and boy, do we love each one, each person. You're all so wonderful. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much.